Levi Stadium's capacity is 68,500. If attendance on Saturday is equal to the Quakes' current average attendance, approximately how full will the stadium be? A, 20%, which is the same as the discount you get on food trucks, merch, and youth camps and clinics if you become a 2023 Quakes season ticket holder and help raise this number. Is it B, 36%? Same as the portion of their lineup that was fined this week for inciting and or escalating a mass confrontation on the field versus Austin FC. Is it C, 2.7%, the same as San Jose's current odds of winning the MLS Cup this year? Or is it D, 40%, same as the games they've won of the 10 games they've played this season?
Darren, this is a good question. This is hard because I believe you that all those numbers are true.
They are.
I'm going to go with Welcome to Happy Foot, Sad Foot, the only LAFC podcast featuring a 19th century French tapestry. I'm Travis Helwig.
And I'm Darren Miller. Welcome to our preview of LAFC's regular season matchup against the San Jose Earthquakes, which is this Saturday, May 6th at 4:30 p.m. in San Jose. You can get it on MLS Season Pass on Apple TV Plus, and as always, we'll be live streaming 10 minutes after the game with our post-game call-in show on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/@HappyFootSadFoot. Subscribe there now, and you can get notified when we go live.
Later in the show, we'll be playing a game and learning all the storylines for this week's game against San Jose. But first, because our audience will mail us death threats if we don't do it, it's time for listener-mandated banter. I said it as if there's a sound that we're going to play, but maybe we should have one.
Maybe we should have a sound.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that we could, apply to music school or something like that and see if we can try to learn from experts on music production, music theory, learn how to really create a song.
Lydia Tarr.
Who's that?
Lydia Tarr?
I haven't seen
You don't know about Lydia Tarr is a fictional composer from the movie Tar.
Yeah, I really need to see that. There's been a good handful of movies that have come out in the last year or two that have been like, oh, I bet this will be my favorite movie of all time. And I don't see it.
Tar fucking rules. Tar is a movie that, like, maybe it's not for everyone. It's so slow. Every scene is 20 minutes long, but I think it's maybe one of the best movies ever made. It's so fucking cool. Whoa. And like Cate Blanchett's just the best. It was awesome. It ruled.
She's amazing.
You should see it, but it's not for everyone. So if you see it and don't like it, I think you don't have taste.
Great. I really wanted to see that movie, and I really wanted to see Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah, you got it.
Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah, you did it twice.
I just can't say it wrong. I don't know how to say it wrong. And Triangle of Sadness looked awesome too.
Yeah, I like that one the least of the three, but I did like it.
Okay.
We're just talking about this is what banter's all about. Just talking about movies that came out 6 months ago.
Movies get made, Travis?
Yeah, I do, and we're fucking shutting them down, Darren. Woo! Let me tell a story quickly of one of the coolest things that I've ever seen. Great. I saw it on the picket line today.
You're definitely having much more interesting days than me right now.
It's weird. Like, I didn't do really anything much today, but so I'll try to tell quickly because it's sort of I want to make sure everyone understands. So I'm in the Writers Guild. We're film and TV writers. We're picketing the studios because they're trying to turn our jobs, which are jobs that used to be jobs that could be careers, into gig jobs that they can hire us and fire us off day rates. They can pay us less, and eventually we'll just get rid of writers' rooms altogether and replace us with computers, which they want to do. So we went on strike, and we've been picketing outside of all the movie studios. And the reason you picket outside of each gate is that the Teamsters, which is another very strong union, has a rule amongst their members. They don't cross picket lines. If two people are at a gate with picket signs, they will not go through that gate. So we want to have people at every entrance. Because if the trucks can't come in, the productions get shut down. The productions get shut down. The studios lose hundreds of thousands of dollars on that production that day. The more money they lose, the faster they lose it, the shorter the strike will be, and the sooner they'll come to the negotiating table and stop trying to destroy our careers. So all of that is to say there's a weird legal loophole called the neutral gate, It's a labor law loophole where there's a solo gate on every lot where anyone who works for a company that isn't one of the struck companies can go in and out without crossing a picket line. So they don't have to make any moral choices or whatever. And the Writers Guild puts one or two people at those neutral gates. I don't really know why they exist. It seems sort of bullshit, but they put one or two people at that gate, not to protest, but to observe and to make sure no one's trying to sneak in through that gate that shouldn't be sneaking in through that gate. And because the observers are there, the security at the lot is turning around people that aren't supposed to be there, which wasn't the case a few days ago. So it's working as it should be. People get a little annoyed when it happens, but it is, the point of a strike is to cause a little pain to the studios so that, we can be paid fairly from these multi-billion-dollar companies. So I was an observer at a neutral gate today, and I watched a few different cars get turned around. It was working. And I watched this kid pull up. He was in his 20s, and he shows his badge, and Uni Security, it was at Universal Studios, turned him around, and he said, "You can't come in this gate, I'm sorry." And the kid started talking to me, and I thought he was going to be angry at me because a few people had been angry with us after we'd turned around. And he explained that he was a PA, and he had lunch for his bosses. And he had explained to his bosses he's not going to cross a picket line. He won't do it. And his bosses said, "Don't worry, just go in through the neutral gate," even though he wasn't allowed. They just lied to him, basically forcing him to cross a picket line to do his job. And he said he wouldn't do it. And he said, "Do you guys on the picket line want my boss's lunches? Because I'm not going to go through this picket line." It sounds like not a big deal, but a PA is the worst fucking job there is in Hollywood. You do so much bullshit work for so many rich people who treat you so poorly. And for this kid to put his livelihood on the line, know his bosses are going to be upset, and to show solidarity with us and to not cross a picket line was so fucking moving to me. Like, he could have just easily drove through and we wouldn't have been, we don't want anyone to cross a picket line, but he's a kid. We get it. It was so moving, and he didn't. He fucking gave his lunch away. Like, it was amazing. And so now that I say all this story, if you're listening and you want to help members of crew that are being hurt by our labor action, because there are people who are being hurt by this, I'm going to put a link in the show notes that is for the Entertainment Something Fund. I forget what it is.
Strike Fund.
And if you go to you go to the drop down, you do movies and TV, all the money that you donate will go directly to crew members, not to writers. It'll go to crew that are being hurt by this, that are losing some money out of this. Any crew members that that are hurt by our strike, send them to this fund. They can get money, no questions asked. Writers are donating. Anyone can donate. Please go and donate. That was a lot of banter, and I'm sorry for telling it for so long, but it was so fucking cool. I just want to tell the world how cool this kid is.
You said it seems like not a big deal. It seems like a huge deal. It's a situation where small gestures can be very symbolic, but also very impactful in a practical way.
I'm never going to forget it. I will never not cross a picket line. I will never... I will never not cross a picket line means when I see one, I get out of my car and I cross.
Everything, always, whoever is everywhere.
You know what I mean? It just was like, I'm going to, and when other fucking unions go on strike in this town, I'm going to walk with them. I'm not crossing any of those picket lines. It fucking rules that they did that. And if anyone knows who that kid is, I want to know his name so I can make sure he gets a writer's PA job after all this. Let's start the show, Darren. This is way too long for banter.
No, that was a beautiful story. I have all the time in the world for it. Let's start the show. Look, I love LAFC as much as the next fan, but I'm also aware of the fact that loving LAFC is not a whole personality. So I have other stuff going on in my life to make sure I can be a well-rounded adult who's fully engaged with society. And it's not easy to do. It takes up a lot of time. I really can't remember if I've mentioned this in previous episodes, but I have a home and a family, and my wife, 3 children, and a dog.
I haven't read this.
And a full-time job where I go to an office and do work and hold myself accountable for my actions, which is why I'm so grateful for Travis. Because while I'm doing all those things, being a serious person, etc., I know that when he's not sleeping in, experimenting with drugs, or going to sex parties, he's focused 100% on LAFC, as if it is a whole personality. So every week he tells me what's important about the team's next match in a segment we call Storylines.
Darren, that was your best one yet. It was
Oh,
your
thank
best
you.
one. It made me laugh. It made me think. It made me feel. And if anyone wants to go to the sex parties with me, let me know.
I've always wanted
Okay.
to.
Well, I meant the listeners. I don't do it with
Yeah,
people I
it'd
know.
be
It's got to
weird
be
if I went.
strangers or it's not as hot.
Exactly.
I know we are riding high after the 4-1 aggregate trouncing of the Philadelphia Union in the
Love that
semifinals
word.
of the Champions League. I know we are all still dreaming of that Apoku rocket, that John McCarthy save, that Jacob Glesnes getting really angry because he's a dork. But we have another game in a few days, Darren. And it's against our quasi rivals up north, the San Jose Earthquakes. And that brings us to the first storyline of the game, which is this: we have a long history of absolutely embarrassing the San Jose Earthquakes. We beat them 5-1 in 2020. We beat them 5-0 in 2019 in San Jose. We beat them 4-0 again that very same year. They love being humiliated by us so much, I'm convinced it's their kink. They are so much into getting beaten by us.
What
Now,
is that a rivalry? What?
well, I'll get into it. So now in the recent 2 seasons, it's been slightly more evenly matched. This year, San Jose is currently fifth in the West with 15 points to our 18, but LAFC has 2 games in hand. Regardless if San Jose prevails, they will be tied with us in points in the West. So it is an important game for both sides. But if you're a fan for either team, you know that San Jose fears playing Los Angeles. And we absolutely love playing the Earthquakes. It's technically a rivalry, but it doesn't carry the same air of anxiousness or fear that our matches against the Galaxy have. Why, Darren? Well, that brings us to our next storyline. Every single time we play in San Jose, our fans take over the fucking building. There was a famous video from a few years ago where you could literally see the stadium shaking from our chants, people jumping up and down. Did you see that video, Darren?
No, I haven't
It's
seen that.
fucking wild. It
Must have
makes
watched
me
the
worried about
game.
the structural integrity of the building.
That must be why they're playing at Levi Stadium.
Oh, Darren, you're getting ahead of me here. I'm about to
Oh,
talk
sorry.
about it. Yeah.
Jeez.
So it was.
I
It
had to
was.
do research for the first time for the game.
Oh
For
yeah,
the
there you
for the
go.
game segment. So I
It's almost
suddenly
like
know things now.
doing research is your whole personality.
You okay?
uh,
You okay?
I just start crying. We always head up to San Jose in massive numbers, and San Jose was so tired of being outmanned in their own building, Darren, they decided to move the game to Levi Stadium, where the 49ers play. And they're dubbing it the Bay versus LA. Okay, I
Good
guess.
try.
Yeah, sometimes people think rhyming is clever, and sometimes it is, and sometimes it's just easy, and that is an easy one. The team is making a big event out of the game, so more of their supporters will attend, and our traveling contingent will be seen as like even smaller because it's in a bigger stadium. It's basically like when they make taller actors stand further back when they're acting with Tom Cruise, so Tom Cruise
Mm-hmm.
doesn't seem short. It's just like a depth perception.
But practically speaking, they're just having it in a place that can actually hold all of the LAFC fans that are coming.
Right. It's all they're doing is making a little bit more room for us. But I do think a lot more LAFC fans are traveling, so we'll see how it goes. The Levi game is to take more money from our supporters who are making the journey while also trying to make their own supporter culture look bigger. It's a real ass boondoggle. San Jose's biggest rivalry has always been the Galaxy in a match that they call the California Classico. Everyone's always trying to make every rivalry the Classico. And I just want to say,
Right.
I know that that's like cool to some people. I want them weird. I want El Trafico. I want
I
Life
agree.
is Hell or whatever they call the one in the middle of the country. I want the Beef and Broccoli Bowl, where's Austin versus Dallas. That's the shit that I want. I don't want
Yeah, I agree.
Classico shit. It's obvious in recent years that San Jose's felt like we've taken the Galaxy rivalry from them. Galaxy fans care way more about beating us than they do San Jose anymore. And San Jose very much has little brother syndrome in the California rivalry space. Darren, you're a little brother. What does that
Mm-hmm.
feel like?
Oof. I mean, you're just watching somebody be more successful than you before you
Mm-hmm.
have a chance to be that successful.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's tough. You're in the shadow.
So then maybe so San Jose has had time to be better than us, and they're not. So maybe they're a deadbeat older brother.
I think that might be what it is. Yeah, they're maybe the Galaxy's little brother, and they're the middle
Yes,
child. They're our older brother, and the
they're the
Galaxy's
middle
little
child who
brother,
like still lives at home, and
and
like
they still don't notice that they're around.
they live in the basement, but they call it their apartment because there's a separate
Uh huh.
entrance, and
Right.
they smoke a lot of weed, but not in a way that's cool.
Hmm. This is
um,
perfect. Yeah.
yeah. What's different this year, though, is that San Jose is finally playing really good soccer. Christian Espinoza, the 28-year-old Argentinian winger, is an early MVP candidate, already scoring 6 goals and dropping 3 assists in the first 10 minutes of 10 minutes in the first 10 matches of 6 goals and 3 assists in 10 minutes would be he should
That
win
would be very
MVP.
impressive. I know,
Sorry,
totally.
Boanga. In the first 10 matches of the season, Jeremy Abobasi is also a fantastic forward. Abobasi is also a name that sounds a lot like a Pokemon, like Abobasi.
There's more Pokemon sounding names in MLS than any other league I've ever paid attention to.
Do you know
I don't know
enough?
what that is.
Do you know Pokemon's names in recent generations? Because I could write a
Not
game that could
really.
be funny that is MLS player or Pokemon that we could
Yeah,
play.
that'd be fun.
All right, let's
I
do
don't
that.
know
That's a fun.
anything, so I think that means we should play.
Okay, great. Abobasi, I choose you. People would be mad if I didn't mention Cade Cowell, the 19-year-old American winger who has not yet scored a goal this season. People think he's going to be great on the U.S. national team, but he hasn't been that great this season for the Earthquakes. And their defense is held down by Rodriguez, a 25-year-old Brazilian who's on loan with the club right now, and he's maybe their best player on the season behind Espinoza. This game is one that both teams want to win, Darren, but I do have some questions about our roster heading to the game, which brings us to another important storyline. Where the
Number
fuck is
3.
Giorgio Chiellini?
Ooh, he's fine. Don't worry about it.
Is he missing? Should we
He's
go
fine.
looking for him?
I don't know.
He's tied up somewhere.
Oh no, I'd believe anything.
You don't know it. You're a fucking
I
idiot.
feel- I don't
Everything I
know.
said, I could just made up five players' names.
No,
They're not real.
I just mean that anything's kind of plausible. You never like. If you told me it's because he's injured, I'd believe it. If you told me it's because he's just trying to take a rest or like go on vacation, I'd believe. Like he has this combination of like he's old and somewhat frail, but also like so respected that it's like
Mm-mm.
who knows? Anything makes sense.
He also did like some sketchy stuff with Juventus, like when Juventus was like having their money problems or whatever. He was involved, so I'm like, maybe he owed money to the wrong people.
Sure, sure, could
um,
be that too.
I knew he would probably not play against Philly, but our beautiful Italian dad didn't even suit up. Is he actually injured? Are we just resting him? Do we need him if we have Long, Murillo, and Maldonado? Darren, answer all of these questions for me.
Yes, no, yes.
Yeah, I think that those are right. I agree with all of those answers.
Whew. That was hard.
Well, he was a late minute scratch against the Galaxy, and that was the first time we saw any hint of an injury, and he has not played since.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been okay without him, but I still think we need him.
Look, I've been conditioned. Like the bar has been set with Gareth Bale.
Yeah.
So I have a very high tolerance for this.
Yeah, we have hope that it's going to work out in the end.
Everything's fine, you know. Worst case scenario, he just trots in at the end of the cup and figures it out and contributes somehow. He's already contributed more.
He didn't play in the MLS Cup Finals because they don't play him against Philly because they're too fast.
And that went pretty well.
Yeah, I'm pretty good. Hey, I'm pretty good, Giorgio. We also saw Murillo, Tillman, and Long all get banged up against Philly. Are they all still fit? Another big roster question I have for Saturday, and I think this will be really interesting over the next few games. Has Bogus officially taken the starting spot from Apoku and Buke? He's looked the best of the three of them all so far this season. Do you think we should give him the spot over Apoku at this point?
I thought last game was very interesting because the play callers mentioned that Cherundolo said that he was starting Bogus because he was more goal oriented, which I thought was interesting. And then he didn't do too much, and Apoku scored when he came in. So I thought that was like a really fun wrinkle to the situation.
It also could be one of those coaches
who's goal oriented. Which one's
like
goal oriented? Is the guy who scored or not?
Like, you hear all those stories about coaches like using reverse psychology or whatever. Maybe he did it so Opoku would be like, "Fuck you, Steven." I'm
That
gonna call him
honestly sounds a
Steven
lot more
Cherundolo from now on.
that Steven. That honestly sounds more plausible to me. That like Bogusz he hasn't been on the team for that long and scored enough goals to call him goal oriented.
Yeah,
Like
he hasn't scored any goals, but he has looked the best of the three of them. Another thing to think about as we look at our roster on Saturday, we have a US Open Cup match on Tuesday against Monterey Bay FC. And that brings us to the final storyline of the week. Which characters from Big Little Lies are currently season ticket holders for Monterey Bay FC?
oh my god. I totally so now I am the casual fan that I'm supposed to be. I thought that was like an LAFC 2 thing.
No, so for those of you who don't know, the US Open Cup is a tournament where any competitive team in American soccer can enter and potentially win enough that they end up playing MLS teams. It's like the FA Cup in England. Any
I love
tier
this
can join.
tournament.
So
I love it.
Monterey Bay is in the USL, which is like the second division where the Las Vegas Lights are. It's sort of being usurped as a second division from MLS Next or whatever they're called, wherever LAFC 2
Next
plays
Pro.
in. But USL is like Tampa Bay route. Actually, I don't fucking know I know the Hartford Athletics and USL. It's confusing now because we sort of have two second division
Wasn't there a
tiers.
team that made it pretty far in this tournament last year from
Yes.
USL?
Yes.
Like Orlando something?
Well,
Maybe?
Orlando is in MLS, Darren.
Yeah, but maybe there's another Orlando team. I don't
There
know.
was
That's the name of the city that came to mind.
I think it was last year. It was one of the recent seasons the Sacramento Republic made it really far. They made it to like the final four, the team out of Sacramento. But it's fun. Like the smaller teams get through. But if I were to guess, I would say LAFC cares about the US Open Cup least of all the tournaments. Monterey's in the second division, as I said. They're going to be playing their fucking hearts out on Tuesday to try to upset the MLS Cup champions. If they were playing any team besides us, I would be rooting for Monterey Bay FC. Currently, they're sixth in the Western Conference of the USL with 12 points in 8 games. And I absolutely refuse to do any other research on them. I'm not going to look it up.
Fair.
And, who cares?
The season is grueling enough.
And those are our storylines for this week. When we come back, we're going to play a game about San Jose.
And we're back. They're named after a natural disaster their fans are consistently victims of. They're in the same state, but they're not the galaxy, and they're not one of the cities that matter, like San Diego, San Francisco, Oakland, Sacramento. I could probably name more. And they have their own stadium, but for some reason they're hosting us in a massive NFL stadium for this game. We've heard all the soccer storylines that matter, but now it's time to learn about other bullshit that's kind of related to San Jose Quakes in a game we're calling Do You Know the Way to Levi Stadium?
Levi Stadium.
Did you record that in a bathroom?
Yeah. I put a little effect on it, so hopefully we don't get dinged. Song for copyright.
Mhm.
Anyway, it's parody.
luck.
It's fair use, guys. I'm familiar with the laws. Travis, this is a pretty standard trivia game. I put a bunch of bullshit together, but it will be fun.
Great.
Are you
I
ready
love fun.
to answer
Yeah,
some
yeah.
questions? Great.
I would love to
Let's
answer
see
questions.
how well you know. What?
I said I would love answering questions.
Yeah. It's like an interview, but it's
Yeah,
not
but
about
there's-
you.
Yeah, that's what I like least about it.
Yeah, that's fair. So this was to see how much you know about San Jose, but then also like any kind of topic that's like, this is like a word cloud situation. You know what I mean? Like anything that's kind of like,
but go ahead.
you'll see. Okay. Question number 1. Which of the following actual blue MLS mascots is the San Jose Earthquakes official mascot? Is it A, a blue loon named PK, B, a blue dog named Blue the Dog, C, a weird humanish blue dude named Q, or D, a blue snake named Fang?
Okay. Snake is Philly. The loon is Minnesota. The dog, I don't know. So it's between the two middle ones. It was the dog or Q. Q is Quake. What does the Q look like?
It's a weird humanish blue dude.
Yeah, it's that one.
Okay, C. The answer is C. You're right.
Yeah,
It's
Q.
Q. You did your own research.
Q, I love Q. Q, if you want to know anything about what's really going on in Hollywood, look up Q.
What's really going on in the MLS? Look closer. Which of the following is not a real name of a San Jose Earthquakes supporters group? A, San Jose Ultras. B, Club Quake. C, Where We Go One, We Go All. D, Soccer Silicon Valley. Oh, I went through all of them. That's the last one. D.
Okay, it's definitely C, because Where We Go One, We Go All is a QAnon slogan.
Well, the mascot is Q. I don't know.
It's C.
Maybe it is. Maybe the whole thing's like, okay.
I know way too much about QAnon for you to. If you don't, as someone who's on Reddit nonstop, and you think I don't know Where We Go One, We Go All.
Look, it says it right there. It's Q. He's Q. He's not even hiding. Question 3. Levi Stadium capacity is 68,000.
What if that mascot is Q? Sorry.
Have you seen? Have you seen what this mascot looks like? It's completely ridiculous. It's just a human who's blue. There's actually a pretty fun story behind it. It's like there was an earthquake, and it was like a displaced person who like subsisted on a lot of blueberries, and like eventually made his way down to the stadium, and he let him hang out. It's the weirdest shit.
It's supposed to be like, it's supposed to be like a person who lost their home in an earthquake.
Sort of. I don't know. It's very confusing. When you name your team after a natural disaster, there's no like fun, upbeat narrative you can apply to.
He does look like Doc from Back to the Future if he was a Muppet.
Yeah, it's a combination of like that and a Smurf.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, keep going. Sorry.
It's real fun. Everybody Google it. Okay. Number 3, Levi Stadium's capacity is 68,500. If attendance on Saturday is equal to the Quakes' current average attendance, approximately how full will the stadium be? A, 20%, which is the same as the discount you get on food trucks, merch, and youth camps and clinics if you become a 2023 Quakes season ticket holder and help raise this number. Is it B, 36%? Same as the portion of their lineup that was fined this week for inciting and or escalating a mass confrontation on the field versus Austin FC. Is it C, 2.7%, the same as San Jose's current odds of winning the MLS Cup this year? Or is it D, 40%, same as the games they've won of the 10 games they've played this season?
Darren, this is a good question. This is hard because I believe you that all those numbers are true.
They are.
I'm going to go... I know that they don't do well in like Aviant Stadium or whatever. So I'm going to go. So it's their current average capacity transposed. What percentage of that is in Levi? Would it be in Levi Stadium?
Their current average attendance, like how many people actually show up to their games on average?
And then what percent?
That amount of people in Levi Stadium.
Okay, I'm going to go with 20%. A.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Quakes 2023 average attendance. You're doing well. Average attendance is 14,163, which is 28th of 29 teams. For reference, LAFC's average is 21,489. If we add the average LAFC attendance to theirs, then the stadium would be 52% full.
So the stadium's going to be fucking empty.
Yeah, I don't know what we're doing here. Question number 4. The median rent price for a one-bedroom apartment nationwide is $1,495. In Los Angeles, it's $2,400, the 8th highest in the country. In San Jose, it's A, $2,200, B, $2,600, C, $2,500, or D, I get the point, it's higher than Los Angeles, making this a rare opportunity to punch up on this issue by vaguely implying it's nothing but rich tech bros, and also B, $2,600 specifically.
D. It's D.
It's D. That's right.
You said everything out loud that I was about to say.
Well, who cares? You know, why not?
Yeah. It's rich tech bros and our college friend Laura Polton.
Oh yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say rich tech bros and their families and or roommates if they exist. Rich tech bros and whoever they live with. A dog. Okay. Question number 5. Which of the following is true about Levi's stadium sponsor, Levi Strauss & Company? A, in 2019, Levi's became one of only 2 major clothing brands with commitments in line with the Paris Climate Agreement. B, in 1991, 3% of their Made in the USA labeled jeans sold that year were actually made by laborers in China under, according to U.S. Department of Labor, slave-like conditions. Or C, let's not worry about what they did or didn't allegedly do. We're here to talk about soccer in a brand-friendly setting that could attract future sponsors. Besides, I shudder to think about what the alleged atrocities were that may or may not have been committed by BMO Bank or Flex Power Tools. Or is it D, A, and B?
The correct answer is C, Darren. Levi is a wonderful company that makes quality jeans that I wear every day. When I'm in a pair of Levi's, you can guarantee I'm having a good day.
We'll cut whatever segment out of this or into this that we need to, depending on what happens.
Levi's, the only ones for me.
Listen, A was a positive thing.
Yeah, I know they have their like don't wash jeans thing, which is supposed to help Earth or whatever.
Help Earth.
Or whatever.
Go to helpearthorwhatever.com/Levi's today.
I guess the actual answer is A and B, but C is the correct answer in my heart.
Yeah, that's fair. You know what? In the spirit of that, we're moving on to the question number 6. I'll intro it first. Question number 6. The Quakes normally play in PayPal Park, so we might as well take a shot at PayPal founder and billionaire tech dark lord Peter Thiel too in a special subjective Travis's Choice round. The question is, which rabbit hole should people Google and fall into first? Is it A, Palantir, Thiel's terrifying surveillance and data mining company, which contracts with ICE to help convict migrants, with over 300 cities in California alone, with many other state and federal agencies, and with megacorps like JP Morgan and Airbus? B, Gawker, the beloved New York City blog, which once offended Thiel in a post and later went bankrupt after losing a lawsuit to Hulk Hogan, who didn't like that Gawker revealed a video of him having sex with his best friend, Bubba the Love Sponge's wife, which all parties, including Bubba the Love Sponge, consented to, but Bubba the Love Sponge told the Hulkster he wouldn't be filming it, and he did. Anyway, Peter Thiel secretly bankrolled the whole lawsuit just to get revenge on Gawker. Is it C, parabiasis, the procedure that Thiel has been rumored to take part in regularly, which involves getting blood plasma transfusions from younger, healthier men in an effort to extend his own longevity? Or is it D, seasteading, a project he funded to build lawless autonomous island nations off the coast of Panama?
Jesus Christ, he truly is like a demon. Everyone attached to PayPal is a bad person. Like, if you worked at PayPal when PayPal was invented, you have committed a war crime, and I'm sure of it.
I mean, maybe,
Thiel,
honestly, that's not super hyperbolic.
Yeah. I mean, I only knew the first two, so I need to look into the boy's blood that he's injecting into his body and the autonomous nations that he's building in the islands. I mean, Palantir is a really scary one. Palantir is like, he's coming for all of us. That's A. The Gawker one is fun and directly hurt people we knew in New York. Like, we know people who have been fucked by the Gawker lawsuit.
That's true.
I'm going to say,
Hulk Hogan, of course.
Yeah, the Hulkster really suffered by winning a bunch of money, I guess. I'm going to say D, people should look into the islands, because that's the one I'm going to look into, because I would live on a lawless island. That would rule.
Oh, turns out Peter Thiel is good, actually.
Yeah. I'm going to take that back, because now that I think what a lawless island would be used for, it's Epstein's island. I don't want to live on that.
Oh, no.
I take it back.
What was Epstein's involvement in the early days of PayPal?
Yeah, Jeffrey Epstein was another board member along with Elon Musk and Peter Thiel.
A real Mount Rushmore. So are we sticking with D?
Yeah, people should look at D.
Great. Everybody have fun. Travis is right. Question number 7. That was fun. Let's do a bonus subjective. What?
We have so many questions. Keep going.
This is the last one. We're doing a bonus subjective Travis's Choice round that we may or may not cut for time if we need to, because right answers don't mean anything in this game anyway. So the question is, but actually, what is the best way to San Jose? Is it A, the 5, it's faster and more direct, and you're less likely to get stuck in the weather if the weather gets bad? Is it B, the 101, it's more scenic and you get to drive through places like Santa Barbara and Monterey, and the 5 is boring as hell with nowhere to stop? Is it C, fly, idiot, Southwest goes direct Burbank to San Jose? What are you, scared, you fucking loser? Or is it D? Oh, there's actually an E on this one. Is it D, I can't afford any of this shit, I'm too lazy to leave the house for a goddamn home game anyway? Or is it E, other? Your choice.
Darren, it depends on the context. It is like if I'm driving up to the San Jose Earthquake game, I'm not taking the 101. It's so much longer. It's like you take the 101 when you're taking a road trip with your family. You're going to see some sights along the way. But if I'm going up for a Saturday 4:30 game, that means I'm probably leaving Saturday morning. I'm not taking the leisurely way.
It's all business.
I mean, I would definitely, if Southwest, yeah, we can afford it. A Southwest flight is going to be the same price as gas there and back. Yeah, take the Southwest flight.
This
Is it from
actually
Burbank?
turned out to be a very objective, correct answer. Which
Is it
this
from Burbank?
Yeah, Burbank's direct to San Jose.
There's no reason not to take Burbank to San Jose.
Wow.
It's the same price as filling up your car both ways. Yeah, and unless you're taking like the LAFC bus, there's not a good train. That train takes forever and is so much money. I've always wanted to ride that train, but it is way too the like surf comber, beach comber, or whatever.
Trains are
you're flying Southwest.
Trick.
Final answer C.
That's absolutely right. I thought this was subjective, but really I should have just trusted you to know the objective answer before I did.
The only
Travis,
downside is
won
it's
the
Southwest.
Game.
Yes.
That was our game. Thank you for playing, and thank you for following along at home if you did.
When we come back, we're going to make some bets.
And we're back. Now it's time for a segment called Bet It and Forget It.
Bet it and forget it.
Every week, Travis and I end the show with a bet for this week's game. We make an outlandish prediction for the week, and that thing probably won't happen. Almost definitely won't, but could. Each week, we both put up $5, and if no one hits, the money rolls over to the next week. And eventually, by the time someone's weird prediction comes true, they might win a good chunk of change. A safe assumption, neither of our bets cashed last week. So the bet pool this week is $40, I believe.
My bet was that Cherundolo and Jim Curtin would get into it. That's right.
And did you see that as they were walking into the locker rooms at halftime, they started arguing with each other?
Did they?
Yes, I thought it was going to happen. I was like, "Oh my god!"
But they didn't. Not enough to win the bet, right? I didn't see the video.
No, it was all verbal.
Okay. Would you describe it as getting into it? Because the bet was they get into it.
Oh, that's true. It seemed like they were arguing about.
This is a no. This means the bet didn't pass. Yeah, getting into it means a line was crossed. I think
this is our first instance. Hold on, I think this is our first instance of Bet It and Forget It VAR.
I know.
Which we can do for the next episode.
It goes without saying that if people didn't tweet at me that it happened, it didn't happen. Like, we know that people would have tipped me off if I won. They didn't get into it. No need to check. What was your prediction? Right. I forget.
My prediction was a goal from over half field.
Oh, right.
Did not happen. I'm on a really cool shot kick. So this week my bet is
you're on a really cool kick.
Oh, folks, we need writers. Okay.
AI can't do that.
My bet this week is an Olympico gold.
Whoa, that's fun.
It will be if it happens.
Yeah, my bet, and I'm very confident. I know this is going to happen.
Wow. Confident this week.
At some point during the match against Monterey Bay FC, we will be down by 2 goals. We will go down by 2 goals to Monterey Bay FC.
My God.
I don't know how the game ends, but at some point in the game, we will have 2 goals to make up against Monterey Bay.
Should I change it to 2 Olympico goals?
No. I mean, weird shit happens in US Open Cup, and our players are not going to be thinking about winning this game. It's going to be fair. Like Dueñas and like 4 guys.
Go Dueñas.
Yeah. We shall see. That's our show. Darren, take us away.
Just a reminder, we'll be live streaming a post-game show 10 minutes after the game on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/@happyfootsadfoot. There's a link in the show notes. Talk to us in the chat. If you want to call in to talk, we'll post a link to join us in our studio. You can be on the live stream. It's a lot of fun. Travis, take us away.
Also, I'm putting in the show notes a link to that fund that helps crew and other below-the-line people who are affected by the writer's strike. You just have to make sure that you choose in the drop-down if you donate TV and film. Anything will help. People are out of work right now because of our labor action. The money does not go to writers. It goes to people who are working on sets and building sets. If you can donate anything at all, I know it will go a long way.
God forbid writers get paid.
Our theme music is done by the insane team of James Valentine, Nate Walcott, and Louis Palmer. Along with YouTube, you could follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and I think TikTok. And if you enjoyed this, please subscribe and review the podcast 5 stars. And also, if you're watching this on YouTube, give us a like. That's something that we're supposed to say. It goes a long way to getting us new listeners for you to do all this stuff. If you have any new friends you think that might enjoy the podcast or might enjoy even calling in after the game drunk and angry, please send them our way. Those are our favorite fans. We're doing this entirely on our own dime. So anytime we meet new people, we see new listeners, we see our numbers going up, which they continue to do. And we want to thank you so much. It really means a lot. It just makes it all worth it that we do this and we love doing it. That's it.
Here's.
Thanks
All
again.
right.
We'll see you on the live stream, baby. I love you.
I love you. See you at Levi's. Thank you so much, Levi's. We love you, actually.
I
We were
love
joking
you.
before.
Thank you for your jeans. I don't watch them because you told me. I love you.
They really are made in the USA, I think, for the most part. I love you. Bye.
Bye.